prize. Run in such a way to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last. But we, Christians, believers, we do it for a crown that will last. So I want to talk about corruptible crown versus the incorruptible crown. Who in here plays an instrument, runs, wrestles, sings, ballet, take the trash out? I'm sorry.
Everybody good.
Okay, so that might not require a lot of strict training, but what do you go through when you train, when you sing, when you rap, when you play the drums, what do you have to go through to perform at a level you want to perform at? Practice, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna talk about that later. So now I want to do a comparison. So Paul, he uses an athletic metaphor, as we read in 1 Corinthians. He communicates a way that he needs to be disciplined enough to endure what he has to endure in the future with ministry, and in this sense, it's going to be athletes, so they can compete. Because like if something happens during a race, you break down. You have to have the endurance to understand like how am I going to get over this hurdle. So I want to talk about what Paul does. So I want to do a comparison. Okay, so what Paul refers to is the Isthmian Games. Who knows what that is? I knew it. Okay, so we're glad to hear that. So that's back in the day before the Olympics, like BC time, right? So the Isthmian Games were held twice during the 4-year Olympic cycle. The city of Corinth was in the charge of these games. The Isthmian was 6 miles away from Corinth. The games included athletics, like horse racing, wrestling, foot race, musical contests. I don't think they have musical contests in the Olympics right now. That's pretty, I just wanted to do that. So it was very likely that the games were held during Paul's stay in Corinth. One of the prizes at the Isthmian Games was a wreath, sometimes made of pine branches, and at the other times, dried celery leaves. Thus Paul says they do it to get a crown that will not last. But we do it to get a crown. Everything you prepare, if we prepare for a race today, musical instruments, whatever it was, would you guys be enthused to get this? Like you did everything you wanted, they said, I'm gonna give you a bunch of salary. Right? No. I don't think so, right? So back then it was a little different. And I was struggling because I was saying, okay, today's world, you know, when you race, when you compete, all the famous people, you got all this money and trophy, cars. Back then, if we could take our mindset back then, we do all that. I don't think that's going to compete against God. And that's what Paul is trying to say. So I don't want this. I don't know you guys don't want that either. So this is what it really is. This guy's happy. With all the money, you got the trophy, you got the money, you got the Lamborghini. So all that, so this is what we're competing against. And this is what Paul was trying to tell us, that it requires discipline when we run this race, right? If we run this race for this, it's going to pass away like the salary leaves. Even though it doesn't look like salary leaves, it's going to fade away, it's going to die. And all that effort we put in, so all that training, depleted. What do you have for that? Nothing, right? So, I want to go down to run in such a way as to get the prize. You have to run with purpose. Why do you do the things that you do? Why are you here tonight? You guys think? I want to preach this.
And you can talk.
You can talk. It's all right. I'm cool. Okay. Yeah. I didn't expect that the first time. Okay, that's perfect. Okay.
Game experiences.
Game experience. Anyone else?
Nobody's here to get rich.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Be honest with me today, right now. At the end of the message, if you guys do that, I'm about to say something about that. Like, why do you go to school? Why do you go to school? Why do you train for volleyball? While you train to
Get
rap,
out of Lansing.
to get out of Lansing.
Wait, why were you there or why were you there?
Matter of fact,
All
go
in
to
all.
Chicago, period.
To be rich. Okay.
No,
There you go.
Chicago, period.
There we go. I like hearing all that.
What's your salary?
There we, we're gonna feed pigs and tell her. Okay, we're gonna go on. All right. So now I know why some of you guys are here. Okay. I want to change your mind about that. Okay. So I graduated this past Sunday. And that was my first degree. So I put all that work, all the effort, all the sweat, all the tears, all the studying when I didn't want to study, to prepare myself to walk across the stage to get this degree. So my goal was that. And at times I lost sight of what I was really doing it for, to get the experience, to tell someone like you guys about what I went through and who sustained me through that process, which is Jesus Christ. Through all that time, I was praying, I was in and out the house, and my mom over there, I was in and out the house. It was to a point that I was so focused on myself to get this degree, I forgot about sharing the word or helping somebody out because somebody didn't have enough to eat or to pray for somebody. And it's hard for me because I'm up here telling you guys to do something. I'm like, okay, I got to do this myself, right? So we get so focused, we get in the zone. We want this money. We want to get out of Lansing, right? This is our purpose. This is our goal. We want to get out of Chicago. But we got to understand, we got to have the mindset, it's okay to run. It's okay to go to school. It's okay. As long as we focus, and then we focus on the goal, the prize, which is Christ, which is sharing the gospel, to be able to share the gospel. We can't keep our eyes on ourselves, then we won't get nowhere. So it was this guy, Bobby Rush. He spoke at the graduation, and he stated about purpose. He said a purpose-driven life is always surrounded around controversy. And I was like, man, that's deep. I couldn't understand a lot of words he was saying because he was kind of old. So I was like, man, that's deep, right? It's always surrounded around controversy. Always surrounded around that. How do we get away from that? We set goals, and then next thing you know, somebody pull up in the Lamborghini. Man, I want that. I want the Lamborghini. I want the money. I want the money. All this is surrounded around and it's clouding our vision. Always. But we gotta stay focused. So the goals, we gotta stay focused. We gotta stay focused on the incorruptible crown so we can stay focused on Jesus. That is our goal as believers. Is everyone in here saved? Born again? Loving some Jesus? Right? Good. And that should be our focus. We can't focus on the corruptible crown because the enemy will continue to say, go after that money. Put the Bible down. Don't go to refuge. Forget the person next to you. They don't care about you anyway. That's the controversy that we deal with in this world. We got a lot to deal with, and I deal with it. But it requires discipline. I had to discipline myself in order to cross that stage. I know you guys have to do the same thing. You guys are acquiring so much discipline when you guys didn't want to. 4 a.m., 5 a.m., yeah, you shaking your head. What did you get up for? What did you get up for that early?
Oh, you said 6.
6 a.m.? School, what? Practice?
Yeah.
5 a.m.?
That ain't nothing. I get up at 5.
We get up so early, we discipline our body enough to endure the day. What comes ahead, we don't know what comes ahead. We endure discipline so we can take a test. Discipline is very important. I've learned that as I was trying to get this degree. And I want to talk about sacrifice. I want to show a clip of how Paul endured so much just to get the gospel across. He put himself to the side just to get the gospel across. He sacrificed just to get the gospel across. And that should be our aim, our purpose. We can't just aimlessly just start throwing arrows. It's like, man, I don't care about the target. The target's right here. I'm just gonna start shooting. No, not aimlessly. We can't do that. So I wanted you guys to get a picture of this focus of how someone can be so beaten down, going after a certain goal, but still acquire some type of energy. Easy ride if we follow Christ. I must be honest with you. There's going to be so much we're going to have to deal with. We're going to start off running. New beginners is like, never got married. It's like the honeymoon. I've never been married, but I don't know how that feels. But it's, you just have this type of focus. Like, okay, Paul is saying, like, I don't care about nothing else. If we start running and we going and we going and going, and we go, sometimes we're gonna crawl. But it doesn't matter how we started, or it's just how we end. She showed so much composure. Paul was saying in 1 Corinthians 9:19-23, Paul uses his freedom. All the time that we have to ourselves, he uses it. And he says, though I'm free and belong to no one, I have made myself a slave to everyone to win as many as possible. Paul mentions he was a involuntary enslavement, so he could spread the good news about Jesus Christ, his obedience, about his death, about his resurrection. Paul was a man, right? He was a man. And I think we need to model our lives around Paul. He gives an example to lead us to Christ. Move all that money away, right? He said, no, he said, I'm going. I'm going to shoot for this. I'm going to do it. So what are you willing to give up? I think I've seen PC's 33-day challenge. He's talking about social media, right?
Yeah.
Social detox.
He said playing games, all kinds of stuff, the application, your cell phone, we're so addicted to, I don't want to say like that, but that cell phone thing, everybody's always in the app. If you got so much time in that was today's challenge, I think, that if you do that, if you got time for that, you got to put that away and have time to pray. Yeah. That's what we need to walk away. So yeah. I know I'm on Facebook, but I'm going to be a witness here. I give it up for a couple of weeks. Yeah. That's really hard.
Today's society.
And I really don't, it's just to say hi and we share verses, but I don't go into what I'm not supposed to. Yeah, I'm not supposed to.
We got Snapchat, we got Instagram, we got Twitter, we got other apps they're about to create in the future. I don't know what it is. They're just gonna take all our time. We gotta let that go. What are you willing to give up to follow Christ? If you guys don't want some salary leaves over your head,